there's the court of man, right? And then there's cosmic court. And I'm like, everything is truly coming from that greater place. And it's just whether or not we're objective enough or open enough to be able to perceive it from that level. And most of the time, most of us aren't. So, like you were saying, you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling stuff going on. That's because you have an inner knowing that this isn't how it seems. You know that there's something greater going on. And whatever that is, even though you might not have your finger on it, you might not be having a palpable, tangible experience of what it is in this moment, you know it's there, you know it's happening, and you have this inner conflict going of like, okay, I want this greater part of what I am to come out, but I'm confused and it's this or that. And so the anxiety comes out as a result of you having this internal resistance to an expansion that's happening in everybody right now. It's happening in all of us, to all of us, around, but nothing actually happens to us. It happens
Right.
for us. But we can't see that when we're in this limited state. And so we have to go on faith. We have to go on trust. And that can be hard to do when you don't have anything to trust or to have faith in, right? So that's when I feel anxiety or I feel conflict or I do whatever. I think I said this to you the other day, because I was in a high conflict place, in prison where it was constant conflict every day, fighting and yelling and screaming and this and that, and like one thing after, it's never quiet. It's always, and so being hypersensitive like you are, I always had, I'm like, how am I going to deal with my own existence when I'm being hit from every level, in every way, in everything? But when I accepted that all of it was exactly how it's supposed to be and trusted it, even though I didn't like the way it looked, I trusted that it was put there perfectly for me to make one of two choices. I could resist it, and what they say, what you resist persists, or I could just face it fully. And facing it fully meant, wow, okay, it's not, either way, it wasn't comfortable. If I resisted it, I wasn't
Right, right,
comfortable.
right.
But
You were still going to feel the discomfort. It's just your understanding and relationship with the discomfort, depending on your perspective, that allowed you to either be the victim of it or to be the owner and transcender of it.
exactly. And so when you've made that choice enough times with enough life experiences that are challenging you or triggering you or putting you to the test, and you stood up in the face of it and you've made that decision like, okay, I don't like the way this looks, I don't like the way it feels, but I love it. I trust it. I
Right,
know that
right,
it's something greater.
right.
Hence why I always say to people that heart brain coherence is the gateway into all of this, because just a simple state of heart brain coherence that is sustained within your
um,
body opens up, because this goes into infinity. This isn't just, oh, get into a state of heart brain coherence and you're good to go. That just opens up the doorway to, okay,
right.
every gland in your body has the ability to be activated with this coherent energy. And then you start perceiving things with every new gland or energy center or plexus center that becomes activated, because you have chosen to activate it from a place of coherence within yourself, in alignment with this greater universal coherence, or the field of the mind of God, or the quantum field, whatever you want to call it. Then those dormant centers of your perception of your body become activated, and your human perception expands more, your frequency elevates more, and you become more conscious of the multidimensional aspects of your life that are more real, believe it or not, than this moment to moment experience that 99.9999999% of people have accepted as normal, meaning the ego, who they think they are, the story of their life, whatever. They believe themselves to be separate from whatever energy is causing their heart to beat, God. They feel like they're separate from each other, from this world, and we're not. That's the illusion. And so these states of coherence, bit by bit, like water eroding rock, begin to tear away or wear away at the parts of us that resist this greater or expansive multidimensional aspect of what we truly are. And again, it's happening to everybody, but so many have no idea what it even is, and so they just automatically resist it because the world hasn't essentially taught us how to deal with all this and function within it and process it. It instead manifests as anxiety or depression or sickness or this or that
Yes.
or what or the,
Yeah.
and it's happening at a personal level, it's happening at a collective level within the human species to the degree where
Yeah.
but the beautiful thing is there's been enough of us doing this work internally that we just took a few hundred years of this civilized way of being and we're collapsing it. Every system that is supporting this modern way of life that everybody depends on is either collapsing, crumbling, falling apart, being remade. Every single one. The
Yeah.
governing model, the economic model, the journalistic
I
model,
know.
the
I know the
environmental.
list.
Yes. But why does it happen to all be coming apart at the same time? That's because there's enough of us who have known that there is something greater, and we've been raising our own frequency, thus giving entrance to that frequency, to that greater potential into the collective human experience. And it's just bringing balance back to something that there isn't any balance to. And so it looks like chaos right now. It looks like, holy crap, everything's falling apart. And it is. But this is the required steps in order for coherence to come out of it. So this is, as painful as this is, as
All
uncomfortable
right.
as it is perfect. It is exactly what it is
Yeah.
because it is out of chaos that order comes. But the beautiful thing is, there is more order and coherence in the universe than there is chaos. That's the beauty of all this. And the more we calm down, the more we breathe, the more we get into that heart brain coherent state that then starts to syncopate all the other organs of our body so that everything feels in alignment with this energy that is beating the heart, and we're consciously aware of that and what it feels like, and we're happy, we're loving it, we're so grateful for this pulse of life that is gifting us the opportunity to live, and we're just like, oh, expressing this gratitude for it inwardly, outwardly, however, and feeling that as we're doing that, we're creating a greater relationship with it by loving it so much, and it in turn expresses itself in greater ways through us, which gives us more of an experience, more of an understanding, which increases our willingness to be devoted to it even more. And so it's this beautiful ascending love affair where we're truly rising in this love, in this state of being that is ultimately going to lay to waste anything that isn't in alignment with it, because this is the predominant force of nature, of reality, more than anybody, anything, any institution, in any place, in any time, than any of that in this 3D narrow lens perceptual filter that everybody has adopted as being their primary state of being. Nothing can hold up to any of that. And so it doesn't feel good, but we trust it, we love it, we know that it is exactly what it needs to be and how it needs to be. And the sooner we calm down and relax and get into that loving place and meet it from wherever we're at, the sooner it's going to say, "Oh, my child, like, yes, you're okay." Like, and then boom, you get turned on and it just starts almost perceiving reality through you, because the reality is you are not separate from it. It's not like there's you and God, but when you're in a limited perceptual state of being and you're perceiving reality according to your human identity, your ego, you perceive and believe yourself to be separate from your source. And that is real, but only as you're going through this process. Eventually, that begins to crumble, because that's the real system that is designed to crumble. And the more we do this internal work, the more we crumble the projection of division that that we are projecting into the world, that keeps us bound into this illusory state where we're experiencing ourselves as separate from everybody and everything and our source. But as we become more aligned with this energy, with this source, then we realize that we are not separate from it. We are it and it is us. And we become, the parts of us that resisted that begin to trust it. And then they don't die. A lot of people think like, oh, it's ego death. It's not what it is at all. It's more like ego entrainment. You are training your ego to be in alignment with this greater coherent energy that is actually reality, that is nature, that causes every living system to cooperate together and work as one in the natural world around us, in the solar system, in the galaxy, in the universe. Like, it's all alive. It's all one big living system. And when we start to connect to the part of ourself that is that, we become part of all that. And it becomes part of us. And so our ego, the parts of us that suffer and that struggle and that go through things, become entrained by these greater and greater states. That's why I said this goes forever. It goes into infinity. Then our ego begins to exude the qualities of it. You know, we love people. We love this body. We want to help the world become healthier, better, more aligned. We want to see the best in each other. We don't have any of the competition or all the things that have been taught to us in this world. All that goes away. We want the exact opposite, because we know that there is only one thing going on. But that one thing has millions of different beautiful expressions, and we love to see people get beyond themselves, connect to that energy, and then express it in their own unique way, because it's like something happens. It like completes a circuit, and we just know we're doing the work. So anxiety is such a powerful thing, because it's everywhere. We're always feeling it. It's always coming up. And every time I feel it, I'm not like, oh my God, like, oh, I'm like, all right, I'm being called to calm down. I'm being called to stop whatever I'm doing if I can and go inward and connect to what it is that I'm feeling, And even though I don't like the anxiety, like, it's teaching me something. It's trying to get my attention. And so I'll calm down. I'll get into a coherent state. I'll feel that anxiety, and then I'll feel what it's really connected to and what it's really doing. And it's amazing, because as I breathe, as I get into it, I feel it. I feel the anxiety, and I'm just with it, and I'm almost communicating with it. Like, okay, what are you showing me? What are you teaching me? What are you trying to communicate? And then it will resolve. It'll dissipate. It'll go there. And often it's like, oh, it wasn't even about that. I just wanted you to pay attention. That's all it is. Most of the time. It's like, this. You know what this is. And I'm like, and every time that happens, it solidifies a little bit more why I have made the choice above all choices to live in alignment with this source of energy. And it makes the old neural networks, the old memories, the things that are in the way still, that need to be revealed layer by layer, it reveals those more and more so that they can be exposed to the light of this expansive consciousness that I have chosen to make my predominant reality.
Bam! What a flow, bro. I was like, tears were coming to my eyes. Yes, I was listening to your words, but who you were being spoke so loudly that you didn't even need the words, man. So I get it. I get it, man. All right, so how do I get me some of that? Like, how do I mean, I already know the answer, but you know, you're walking the talk, bro. So you're a rare, you know. I got to tell you a
You're
funny
walking it
story,
too,
man.
though. That's the thing. Like you're actually walking it too, and now you're just coming up to the edges of the parts of you that question whether you are or not. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't
Okay,
matter what you think. Go ahead.
no,
None of that matters. Okay. What matters is how much time are you taking every day to calm down, to be at peace, because that's that's all I did. The only reason I am anything at all, the only reason that any of this stuff is happening, and I don't, believe me, I don't, I'm nothing. Okay, the stuff that I'm aware of, that is something. I'm like, I have no idea what is even going to happen, because what I'm aware of and what's happening here seem like they're so far apart, but I know they're not. It's going to come together. So I'm like, I'm just like a humble servant. I realize that my personality traits that I was born into this world with, the parts of me that I've used to survive in this world, are the very things that when I confront them from this open, energetic perspective, are actually teaching me how to evolve beyond the limitations of my human self and into the soul I am. So when you feel you're being called to just go inward, to
right.
get into this
Very
state.
clearly that what I'm going through right now is a very the message gets louder and louder until you deal with it, and so I'm getting a very very clear message right now that it's my choice. What are my options? I either learn it and get some mastery with it, or I suffer and it could take my ass out. So it's like rubber meat. We're at the crossroads. I'm at the crossroads right now. So it's very clear that I'm being called to, because my situation is demanding that I deal with it, and I embrace that from the larger perspective, like you were saying. Now that I know that, I can. I remember Matt Kahn's got a book out there. It's like, whatever you're experiencing, love that. Whatever the name of his book is. I haven't read it, but the title says a lot. So I'm learning to like love the adversity. Like I had a friend one time said, at some point when you understand the purpose of the shit in your life, you're gonna fall in love with the shit.
Yeah.
Because you recognize its purpose.
Let me
Got
ask
to
you.
be something, right?
Of course. So let me ask you a question, because you said that you understand all this from the greater perspective, and you're at a pivotal point right now. You're at a crucial point. It's beautiful. It's amazing, but I know what that feels like it's a crossroad. You're there and you're just like, holy shit, am I even gonna make it through this? It's so intense. But what is it in you that is afraid of that, or is challenged by it, or is in resistance to it?
Nothing conscious. I'm not aware of any reason with everything that I know why I would not be embracing this and why I would not be tackling it like I help others when they come to me. So like consciously, I'm on the phone with you. I'm ready to go. Like my life is set up right now. Everything is set up for me to do this right now.
So then all you have to do is You know what? I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna
By the way,
sug.
are we recording this?
Yes,
Oh, great. Oh my God.
yes. I pushed record at the
That
beginning.
flow you just had, that flow you just had, you mean, I've only watched a couple of your videos, but that was as profound, or like people need to hear that. That was
Yeah, if you
huge,
want me
bro.
to post it, I gladly will. Absolutely.